Hello. In this video, I'll talk about utilizing the templates for your presentation. In this case, I will talk about these three templates that you can use, and there possibly could be others, but these would be the ones that we'll be using. In this case, all you have to really do is place your images or information where it's stated. So in this case, where it says project title, you will put your title. As you can see, all you really have to do is select the T for text, and you're able to, if you zoom in, I'm pressing Alt and the scroll wheel, you can be able to get closer. So this one's actually misspelled in this case, but you can see that I can just simply override it, and I can write those words. Just insert your title, your name. If for some reason your title is longer than this, you can always extend this box. Second, in order to change again, you will have to either change tools one more time, and then press your name and input your name. So every time you want to do the text, just change the thing and be able to write it. Here you can see there's more text, and it's just a placeholder, and you can input some of your text with your concept description and your idea of what your concept is. So here you will insert your concept. Insert concept. And so after that, it's just about changing images. As you can see, it already tells you the different types of images that need to be included. So at the bottom, be renders and so on. In this case, let's start with this one. This one, if you select it by pressing the select tool, you will see that it takes you to where it needs to be. This one's under this folder, and I'll explain as to why. But these are smart objects. If you can see, it already says smart object. So I'm going to double click it, and it's going to show you that box. So anything that you place in this is going to be included or updated into the thing. So if you can see underneath, there's a black box. So the first thing you need to do is whatever is here, you need to hide it. And we just want to stay with this PNG. So step number one, hide everything that it's visible. Now, as you can see, I have some images here, and I'm going to bring the same image that I'm just dragging it in, and you can see that I can bring it into my file. I'm not pressing anything, I'm just scaling through the thing, and you can see how it's scaling proportionally. But you can see as I'm scaling proportionally, it's not going to fit. So please don't scale it in a way. You can press shift and pull things, but we don't want to do that. We want to keep it proportionally. So I'm going to scale it all the way to there, but then I realize that, some things are being cut off, and that's okay, right? So you have to choose a render that hopefully things don't really cut off. So as you can see, I place my render there. And now, in order to change it, you can see how the flags are in this way. So I'm sort of creating a new image. I want to press Control S or click File, Save. Control S or Save. So you can see it saves it in a couple of seconds. And if we go back, it brings the title here, the image here. As you can see, the project titles sort of overlapping with these flags, which is why all I did was previously I had flipped the image to be over here. In this case, it wouldn't work for you because I don't want you to flip your design. But what I'm trying to say is you have to choose a render that the text does not overlap. So as you can see, this render is better than this render because my title is here, so it won't really fit, right? You could also modify and place the title over here, but that's if you want to do it, but you would have to keep the constraints. But the ideal thing is you just find a render that's already here, right? Like I said, you just hide anything and you keep your final render and you press Control S. So right now you see it's still not updated, but I'm going to press Control S and it's going to update, saving at the bottom, and then I'm going to see it's flipped. I will be doing that with every single image. As you can see, some say isometric, and you can include other things alongside isometric, side plan, and so on. One of the important ones is going to be your sketches. This says developmental work, which is just basically sketches. if we go in, you can see how it looks like a gray box. Most likely when you scan, something like that is going to happen. And so what you need to do is you need to modify it. Okay? So I'm going to go into this sketches, double click it, and you can see first of all it's kind of pixelated. So make sure your images are really high quality. So now that I'm here, I'm going to start modifying this. Right? So in my case, I already brought this image, I already had it here. I scaled it to what I needed to scale it, and so on. Let's hide all these things. Scale it as to what I need. And remember, some things might need to be cut off, but ideally you don't want that, so be sure to know how to work around that, right? So I'm going to keep it like this. Alright, something like that. And so we can also mess with layers, like the new fill layer, or we can just modify. So in my case, I'm going to press Control L to press the levels. You can also do this by pressing the image and adjustment and clicking here on levels. And so as you can see, all I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be adjusting this. I'm going to be modifying the brightness in a way that makes it a little bit darker, and the white background and the gray background starts to get disappeared. Right? So as you can see, I need to be sure this also, remember, has to be fully transparent. And I press Control S to bring it in. I can see it looks a lot better. It looks because it doesn't have the gray box around it. So be sure to do stuff like that. Also, when it comes to elevations, as you can see, if I go inside, in this case it has multiple, so you can place all your elevations inside, and hopefully you're noticing that there is color and backgrounds and things like that. So it should be a presentation elevation. So you can also sort of put presentation elevation, architecture, and you will see how a presentation elevation, if you just do like a quick Google search, it shows you that it has, colors and so on. But also you do need to have some sort of minor dimensions, such as these and so on. I guess this one doesn't really have it, but just have some minor dimensions here and there, just small, like the heights and so on. So you don't have to do a lot of dimensions, so mostly the different things, right? So even though here it says elevations, make sure that each of those has its own title, and it says north elevation, left elevation, south, or whatever it is. But make sure to follow something also that's very consistent in the sense like put the titles in the right place and so on. You can also write the scale that you're using, but only if you're keeping it consistent. In this case, let's not really work with the scale because you're most likely going to make it fit into this. So doing something like that might not be needed in this case. So just placing all that information. You can have, in this case, I have 4 elevations. You can have 4, you can have 2, you can have 3. It's going to be up to you. At the bottom, your renders, and it goes back to the same idea. If you see, this image is actually a lot bigger. So your render's actually going to be cut off a little bit. So just be sure that you don't really do it like this, in the sense that you want it to fit, and you really want it to fit, and or hide rule number 1, hide it, because it will look a little off. The borders will seem to have changed, right? So make sure to find renders, or make sure to choose a layout that fits your design better, or also make sure you crop your renders to the best option, right? So you can see I did that here. The same thing with the side plan. In the side plan, it's a little bit bigger, so some things might need to be cropped out and so on. So be sure to do something like that. At the end, it will look something like this. Others, so look into which one you think is best. They all follow very similar ideas. The one that's a bit more different as well is this one where it comes, where it says developmental work and side plan analysis. In this case, it's a single, there's nothing really dividing it. So in this case, what you would do is you would bring two different files. As you can see, I brought my site plan and then my sketches. So they're technically two different files, but they merge into one. So goes back, as you can see, I've changed these lighting. If I were to change the lighting to what it was before, it will start getting a little bit gray and so on. And we don't want that gray level to show up and so on. So make sure that it looks like a single image, because then you will have a lot of issues with this border. We want to make it feel like it's one big slide coming together. In this case, at this moment, the borders are red, and so, but you can also, they should be white when you actually see them, but just so that you know, there is some borders, and all we're really making them is to look white, right? Make sure you provide a title for your renders and so on. And so in this case, it would be Nord View Entrance. So provide the where is it from and the aspect ratio. The last thing we'll do is sort of get ready to export. So in this case, I'm going to press Control P so that we can get it to print, and this will come up. Right? You can also do File and then be able to print from here under here, so Control P. And when it loads up, you can see that mine is working pretty well. Yours might not work as well on the first try. In this case, first you need to search for either Microsoft or Adobe PDF, any PDF that you might have. And as you can see, the whole thing is visible, but that might not be the case for you. What I did is press Print Settings, and then it asks for the page size. You have to be sure to change this to Arch D. This is so that the layout is actually 24 by 36. So when you click OK, if this would have been in letter size, let me see if I can show you that. If this would have been in letter, which is usually what is the standard, it will sort of crop things out. You see, it won't fit everything. But by clicking Print Settings, you'll be able to change this, Arch D, press OK, and everything will fit accordingly. Right? And then if you can see the description, it'll say the height and everything, and print resolution. You just press print, and it will save your file, and you'll be able to save it as a PDF. So, and then you just name it as what you need to do, and then you'll be able to export. Be sure to also save the Photoshop file in case there's some things that I would need to look for, and so that is pretty much it. The last thing I do want to mention that in this one, the project title, since the title is over the image, there is already a filter added to this that changes the transparency. So this image, you'll notice that it's just a little bit lighter, but don't worry about that. That's how it's meant to be. So take a look at all the templates, enter all the different smart groups, add your images, read the descriptions as to what it includes. One of them says elevation / isometric, so it sort of joins it. So think which one you would like to do. If you want to make two posters because you feel like you have a lot of information, you could choose two templates, and let's say you want to choose 1 and 2, but in the next one is instead you can make this into more renders, or you can make this into some more drawings that you have and so on. So you feel like 2 could help you better, that's also fine, but only 1 is required. All right, thank you.